Hi, I'm Anthony Alder from Alder IP, and welcome to another episode in the IP series. Today we're going to be talking about the Corporations Act and commercial law. Now, these are really important subjects for companies that have an interest in startup operations or startup companies in general. The main reason is because you really need to get a firm grasp of what the difference between a shareholder is and what a director is. A director is somebody who runs the company, and a director is somebody who acts for the shareholders. They're representative of the shareholders, and they make day-to-day choices about the running of the company. A shareholder, on the other hand, is more like a bit of a silent partner in the whole business, and what they do is they own shares in the company and they nominate directors, but they don't tell the company how to run on a day-to-day basis. They really only have the power to nominate the directors and also vote on special resolutions. Under the Corporations Act, you have two kinds of resolutions that you can ask shareholders about if you're a director. The first one is a normal resolution, and a normal resolution is just where you need to get 50% of the vote to get it approved. And they're usually ones that are normally part of the shareholders' brief or powers. So it's appointing a director, or accepting a remuneration report, or accepting the accounts for the company for the year. The second kind of resolution is called a special resolution. A special resolution is one that's stipulated by the Corporations Act. And these fall into the category of things where you're changing the fundamental scope of the company. So if you're changing the name of the company, or you're changing what the company does, or you're issuing more shares, or destroying shares, cancelling shares. If you're doing any of those things, you need what's called a special resolution. And the trick with the special resolution is you need 75% of the shareholders who are voting to vote in favour of it. Now, this can be quite a tricky ordeal for a startup company where they have a couple of majority shareholders where they all have 25% each. Or even if you've got a group of shareholders that has more than 25%, they can actually be a thorn in the side of the company to move forward. If they can block things like trying to raise more capital, or trying to get more loans, or trying to get issuing more shares to a new investor that's coming in because they don't agree with the price that they're getting. So these are all very important things that you have to consider when you're running a startup company. The other thing that you have to really consider also is the new regulations that the ASIC brought in regarding directors' obligations. Directors at the moment are required by law to be given a director's number, which is verified by the ASIC. Now, this is not too bad if you're an Australian citizen, because you can just log online and get it from the ATO. The problem is, if you've got foreign directors, it becomes quite an ordeal, because a lot of startup companies do have foreign directors on their boards, and they might have one or two, but each one of those foreign directors actually has to apply to the ATO, and they have to apply in writing, and it can take months to get this director's number, which means they can't be officially put on the board until they get the director's number, which is quite problematic. And we've had numerous companies that are having problems or issues with trying to get these forms into the ATO, and the ATO promptly processing them. But it is something that you need to consider, particularly if you've got foreign directors. They need to verify their ID to the ATO. And it's quite a thorny subject for some overseas directors, because they don't want to give their details to a foreign national power, such as the ATO or the Australian government. They're not that familiar with it, although the risk is very low in Australia. I hope that gives you some background into the Corporations Act and general commercial law that applies to startup companies and how to run a startup company. If you have any problems about commercial law in Australia, please feel free to contact myself or my team at Alder IP. More than happy to walk you through some of the issues and trying to sort out some of these problems if you do have them. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.